Hey, this is Chantal Girardi from Online Business Marketing, and today I'm going to share with you a practical guide on how to deal with imposter syndrome. I specifically created this for purpose-led businesses and the in-house marketing teams for those who have been struggling with this thing, imposter syndrome. And a lot of people go, is it imposter syndrome? What is imposter syndrome? How do I deal with it? And how is it actually affecting me? And what if I do nothing about it? How will it impact me? So you know me, I like to create content when my community seem to be struggling in a particular area. And right now, with quite a few sales inquiry calls that have come through or businesses that I'm working through, such phenomenal people with such great levels of skill. However, they themselves are struggling with this thing, imposter syndrome. So what is imposter syndrome? It is a psychological pattern where individuals doubt their accomplishments and fear, which they start to feel like a fraud, basically. All the research that kind of coming up is they just feel like they're not quite accomplished enough or credible enough or don't have enough expertise, despite their evidence, despite who they are and what they actually have, they don't see it. And that is what basically, to me, imposter syndrome is. There's this feeling, especially amongst other high achievers. So, you know, when they go out online or with their peers or other high achievers, they suddenly feel like they're in the right place or they shouldn't be there, or they don't have the same level of confidence, expertise, experience to be able to be there. And when they have those feelings, it can significantly impact their performance and their innovation and their mental well-being. So especially for purpose-led business owners and the in-house marketing teams, you can imagine that if they have all this fear and they have all this doubt and they're lacking in all this confidence and they feel like they're in the wrong place, I'm sure you can understand how it's going to start to impact how they actually perform online, how they're actually going to, how it's going to affect their passion for what they do, and how it's going to actually affect the overall management of their marketing. So I went and I did my usual ChatGPT thing and went, right, give me a good statistic. And Sheryl Sandberg, who is the COO of Facebook, wrote, there are still days when I wake up feeling like a fraud, not sure I should be where I am. And I think it's important to note that even accomplished people have imposter syndrome. I feel like when I was in my younger business days, imposter syndrome reared its head a lot more. But I feel like it has continued to rear its little head as I've continued to progress and challenge myself in my business and in my personal development and my growth. So it is something certainly there. I think the difference is that when you're aware of what imposter syndrome is, you're able to be aware of it, acknowledge it when it happens so that you can overcome it and reframe it and get over it as soon as possible. So I thought it'd be fun to share with you a few times. I was thinking back, a few times as to when this actually happened for me. And the first time was, I'm just trying to think when it was. The first time was probably when I was a school teacher, and I was a qualified school teacher, just done my qualifications. And the principal from a private male school, like one of the best schools in Durban, South Africa, came to the school and they said, we're looking for all the people that have qualified as a preschool teacher for prep. And we want to know, your top candidates, and then we want to choose somebody to come in and be a school teacher. And I never applied for it. I said, look, I'm not applying for it. I don't feel like I fit in that group at all. There were so many more accomplished people. And anyway, they ended up interviewing the top 5 people, and they came back to the school and they said they felt like none of those people were a fit. And they spoke to the principal of the school and they said, could you choose someone who you think would fit? And they chose me. And I went for the interview and I got the vice principal role at prep at school. And clearly I was like, I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I had the credibility or the expertise to be able to do it. But when I went for the interview, I obviously had the personality type that they were hoping to attract for that particular role. The second time was when at that school, actually, I remember them saying to me, you've got to do a sports. In South Africa, it's a bit different. If you're a teacher, then you look after one of the sports, and all the sports are actually within the school. So I said, I'll do swimming. I'll become a swimming teacher. And they said, look, we'll pay for it. We'll sort it all out. Become a swimming teacher. And I was like, I don't even swim. Like I'd swum before, but I wasn't like a professional swimmer or anything like that. So I was like, how can I teach swimming? Anyway, so I'm, an activator. I just jump in and figure it out along the way. But I became a swimming teacher, and I actually became one of South Africa's, in Durban, one of the South Africans for the South African Aquatics Association, became one of the head swimming instructors from doing that after not having been a swimmer myself. So again, imposter syndrome reared its head, had to get over that. Then in South Africa, again, many of you will know if you've heard previous stories, I was massively overweight up until my 20s, and I had a lot of health issues, hereditary genetic health issues that came up. And I decided that I wanted to learn how to lose weight. I wanted to learn how to eat to lose weight. And so I was overweight. I didn't have the perfect body. I'd never done sport. I was never good at anything. And I was on this journey to find out how I could do that. And then I became a personal trainer. And then I was like a personal trainer, but I wasn't in perfect shape. How could I be a personal trainer if I wasn't in perfect shape? So again, imposter syndrome set in, going, I'm not a professional this, I'm not a professional that. I can't do all those things. However, I went in and I actually became Virgin Actives on the Gold Coast. Virgin Active, it was actually called the Sharks, which was a rugby team. It was called the Sharks Gym first, then it became Virgin Active, and I became the head personal trainer there. So again, I think it's just a case of recognizing that, it's happened in your life. You're going to have these feelings where you feel like you don't fit in, but you do it anyway, and you figure it out along the way. And the good news is that whenever I look back, I think, OMG, many of those things led to the most amazing things. Can you imagine if I hadn't actually taken those steps? I remember again coming to Australia, not knowing anyone here at all. And, on the Gold Coast, all the personal trainers, big boobs, Botox, Brazilian bums. And I'm sitting there going, yeah, I'm a mum with 3 kids under the age of 5. No one knows who I am. How am I going to grow a business? And I grow a successful 6-figure health, wellness, and fitness business on the Gold Coast. And again, it's like, I'm not saying I didn't have those feelings. I had those feelings. I had to deal with those feelings on an ongoing basis. At the time, would I have said I have imposter syndrome? No. And I suppose that's why I'm sharing with you my stories, because maybe my stories are making you think about times in your life when you actually had the same thing and you felt the same way, because I didn't recognize it at the time. I'm only recognizing it now looking back. But if I can hang on to that, I can move forward more confidently. The other time, probably one of the most recent times, was when I transitioned from the health, wellness, and fitness industry, and I started coaching in Facebook. And I became the so-called Facebook guru. And so many of my friends and family said, you can't do that, Chantel. You're a personal trainer. What do personal trainers know about being a marketing coach? And I promise you, I delayed my business for probably 1 to 2 years, just based on the comments and feedback from people, thinking, I can't do this. I'm a fraud. How can I be a personal trainer and then do this? And then I remember the amazing Melissa Groom from Empowered Women in Business. And she said to me, Chantal, you only need to know more than the person that you're talking to. Then you're an expert. And I remember her saying that. And I remember then thinking about all the businesses that I'd helped grow and get results, and reading all the testimonials and reviews when they said, thank you, Chantal, thank you. And I went, you know what? There has to be more people out there that I can help. So I am dishonoring these people by not doing it. And then probably most recently is during COVID, when I decided to scrap Facebook, being the Facebook guru, and become an online business strategist, because during COVID, everyone couldn't get hold of Facebook. So every time they lost their accounts, they contacted me, and obviously they don't want to pay for it. They just thought I was Facebook, and they wanted me to fix their problems, which is not what I did. So I then transitioned into the online marketing space. And I remember the business coach I worked with when, Chantel, it doesn't matter what platform you're on, all the customer generating strategies that you are teaching apply to every single platform. And you've always said, respect your audience, respect the platform, and get people the hell of social media. And that applies to whatever channel you're on. So, so what did I do? I got a mentor. I got people to empower me. I started to gather evidence to support that what I was thinking wasn't true, and that in the past I've thought like that, done it anyway, and had great results. And I want that for you. So some of the signs of imposter syndrome, and I'm sure you've already started to recognize some of them in yourself, is self-doubt. Persistent doubt about your abilities despite evidence of competency. And this is quite weird, because you may not see evidence of competency. So I cannot recommend this enough. Show gratitude for every little thing. And so many of the clients that I work with, when I say, do you practice gratitude? They go, yes, but they're showing gratitude for other things and they never show gratitude for themselves, for their accomplishments. So I'm going to reframe it a little bit and go and challenge you. Please make sure that if you are doing gratitude, that you are showing gratitude for yourself as well and for your accomplishments that you make. So many people have come so far, yet they can never pat themselves on the back and go, hey, look at me, look what I did. So gratitude for yourself, not just for other things. Number 2 is overworking. And I see this one all the time. So many people are doing hours and hours and hours and hours of work unnecessarily. And this is to make up for perceived lack of ability. Perceived lack of ability. They think they need to be doing more, but it's really that they're just not seeing how good what it is that they've done or value the progress that they've made. Number 3 is fear of failure. And fear of failure is obviously huge because you're scared of failing. You're scared of making mistakes. I can tell you now that I have made mistakes in every stage of my business, but it's those mistakes and the learnings that I had from those mistakes that got me to the next level. If I hadn't had those mistakes, I would not have learned. There is not one person in this universe that will get up and do something without a mistake first. When you learned to walk, you got up, you walked, you fell. You bumped your head, you rolled over. How many times? But it was from that learning that you were then able to get up and walk. So it is a process. And I think first understanding that you are going to make mistakes, but mistakes are part of the program. So just be comfortable with that. Number 4 is undervaluing success, meaning you're attributing your success to luck and external factors rather than personal skill. I remember when I first bought my house and I was running around an expo and all the people that I knew from about 5 years previously were all there and they were all also trying to buy a house and I was trying to buy a house. And at that expo, I said, I've just signed a contract on a house. It's just been approved. And they said to me, Chantel, that's so lucky. And I went, yes, I'm so lucky to have, bought my house. And afterwards I went, I'm not lucky. Freaking hell. I had to work with my bookkeeper. I had to save. I had to enlist the services of a mortgage broker. I had to position my money in different accounts so that I could show that I could afford a loan. I had to, email the mortgage broker on an ongoing basis to ensure that if there was a grant or some special thing that comes up, I'd be ready for it, which happened. There was a special thing and I was able to qualify for that thing because it was just during COVID. It wasn't luck. I was like, good girl, Chantel, you did a good job. You laid up all the steps to do it. So I think it's important to say it's not luck. Recognize the personal skills and the small little steps that you took forward every single day. Number 5 is perfection. And this is setting excessively high standards and feeling like a failure when they aren't met. I think sometimes we set ourselves up to fail rather than succeed. So it's great to aim up here, but why don't we just look over here first? Because it's progress over perfection. And we are going to fail in the process of that. And there is no such thing as perfect. I can tell you right now, every day I wake up and I find something to do in my business or I find something that's not perfect. Every day, 1,000 times. And if I beat myself up about it, that means I am suffering from imposter syndrome because I'm beating myself up for it. That's not helpful, is it? Beating myself up. So I think it's important that we recognize ourselves for when we are beating ourselves up or whether or not we're empowering ourselves. Number 6 is avoiding challenges. So steering clear of new opportunities to avoid potential failure or exposure. So going, no, I don't want to do that podcast. I don't want to do that blog. I don't want to go to that expo. I'm not going to go to the trade. I'm not going to go to that networking group. I don't want to do speed networking. I don't want to speak at that event because it's scary. It's challenging. It's new. It's important that we go, why? Why are we avoiding those challenges? Well, challenges are scary. Challenges are scary. Anything new is scary. But if we don't face those challenges and rise, we're going to fear them and run. So for fear, the acronym, face everything and rise, or fear everything and run. So I always look at myself and I go, hold on, be a yes girl, but be a yes girl or boy only if it is working towards your goals. If it is procrastination, don't. If it is for your need for significance or for self-love, don't. But if it's towards your financial goals in your business, yes. But recognize challenges are uncomfortable. They are scary. So how does this affect your workplace performance? Well, firstly, it reduces innovation. If you have fear, it's going to stifle your creativity and it's going to stop your risk taking. And that is crucial for innovation in your business. Number 2 is decreased productivity. Overworking and second-guessing decisions can lead to burnout and reduced efficiency. So a lot of people, as I said, will do one of two things. They are either going to overwork or they're going to underwork and procrastinate because they don't have the strength to do it. Number 3 is poor leadership. And this could be self-leadership, so leadership of yourself, discipline and leadership for yourself, or leadership in others if you're managing other team in your business. So if you are doubting your capabilities as a leader, you're going to struggle to inspire and lead yourself or the people that are managing your marketing, because it takes effort to inspire yourself. It takes motivation, it takes discipline. But if you're feeling down on yourself, you're not going to be able to lead yourself. Number 4 is inhibited collaboration. So your hesitance to share ideas or collaborate with others. The amount of people that have not wanted to collaborate with other people because they feel inadequate to that person, or they feel inadequate to that person, or they feel scared or fearful, it limits your overall potential. And if you've got people who manage your marketing as a team, if you are feeling, if your confidence is lacking, you're going to struggle to work and you're going to struggle to collaborate and manage your marketing. Right. So how do you manage imposter syndrome? Well, firstly, acknowledging your feelings is one of those things. So I read the book, loved the book called Letting It Go. Absolutely amazing book. And it says, ask questions behind your feelings. So what am I feeling? What is the feeling behind that? What is the feeling behind that? What is the feeling behind that? And if you keep asking yourself enough and you stick around to actually answer the question, you'll go, you know what, that feeling is actually this. So why don't I want to collaborate with that person? Why don't I want to go to networking groups? I feel scared. What do I feel scared of? I feel scared of rejection. Why do I feel scared? Why do I feel like I'm going to be rejected? Because I don't feel good enough. Well, that's imposter syndrome. So awareness is the number one thing, is about recognizing and accepting your feelings of inadequacy so that you can deal with them, because until you're aware of them, you can't deal with them. So number 2 is getting feedback. So making sure that you regularly seek constructive feedback from peers and mentors to gain a balanced view of your performance. And this is why they say you are the sum of the 5 people that you hang around. If you cannot go to your friends and your community and your trusted network and say to them, like, I'm having these feelings, man, like, what is this feeling behind the feelings? So that they can lift you up, challenge you, inspire you, and not just go, shame, sucks you feeling that way. Because those aren't good friends. They're not good mentors. They're not the best people to have around you. You want people around you who've got your back, who actually can lift you up and inspire you and challenge you with some of those things. And as I said, getting a mentor or a coach. I had Melissa Groom as a coach. As I said, I had a business coach as well. These coaches have all been able to pull me up on that imposter syndrome, which is exactly what I do with my clients as well, going, hold on a sec, are you struggling to launch right now? Has that really got something to do with your marketing? Because your marketing is wonderful. We've set it up. It's going to be a customer generating machine, but you don't want to go to market. What is that? That's not about your marketing. What is it really about? Oh, I'm really worried about who's going to see. I'm really worried that people are going to think, who's this person writing these things? And they're not going to value what I've written. Well, that's imposter syndrome. That's disbelief in your abilities and yourself. Number 3 is documenting your achievements. Now, this is great. Gratitude, as I mentioned earlier, is a great way to do this. But documenting your achievements could be keeping a record of your successes and positive feedback to remind yourself of your competency. So something that I always did, especially before sales calls, was I would read my reviews. I would go to all my reviews from all my clients and read them. and I'd read all the screenshots of people that had messaged me. And simply on your phone, when somebody messages you a nice message, screenshot it and save it to an album called Social Proof. And whenever you're feeling down, just go read what people have said about you. It's absolutely amazing. It just builds that confidence level, because you're now gathering evidence to support that you may be thinking that, but get out of your own way, because look at all these people over here who think that what you do is amazing. And as I said, you only need to know more than the person you're talking to in front of you. Number 4 is setting realistic goals. We touched on that a bit earlier, but you want to make sure that even though you've got big goals, that you break them down into small, manageable goals, so you're not setting yourself up for failure. So many people go, and I remember working with a coach, and she came to me and she drew this massive marketing map, and it looked like a minefield. In fact, I said to her, it looked like my mother's irritable bowel syndrome, because it was like such a like Rubik's cube that nobody could discover. And she goes, yeah, but I just can't get to there. And I said, could we just do this part here and just get that little part right there? Because chances are, if we get that little part right over there, this over here, none of this might even be necessary, because you find it out along the way. You find it out along the way. So just having that, the confidence, I think, and the flexibility as well, to just be open to the learnings from your mistakes, because it may just change the course moving forward. Number 5 is mentorship and support. So just making sure that you do have the right mentors and support around you, so that you can share your experiences in a safe environment, but also gain valuable perspective. Because remember, sometimes the way we see ourselves is not how others see us. So we want to gain perspective. And number 6 is professional development. So making sure that you invest in ongoing learning and develop build your confidence and develop your skills. Absolutely important. Build your confidence, develop your skills, and grow your knowledge when it comes to personal development. So like I said, I read the book Letting Go. It was mind-blowing, absolutely mind-blowing. But other things that you can do, I mean, there's tapping, there's kinesiology, there's hypnotherapy, there's NLP, affirmations, journaling, breath work, meditation. There is amazing resources out there for you to be able to go on podcasts, for you to be able to go on and listen to, so that you can build your confidence. And guess what? Nowadays, all of it's free. So you can jump onto my podcast, the Meaningful Marketing Podcast, and check that out as well. So what is the impact on your marketing if you don't sort out your imposter syndrome? Well, firstly, poor decision-making. Okay. If you're fearful of making the wrong choice, it can lead you to delays in actually creating content and mapping out campaigns and mapping out your funnels and doing your blogs, because you are lacking in decision-making skills, because you're hesitating. Number 2 is risk aversion. So you're avoiding making bold and innovative marketing strategies because of a fear of failure. So you start to limit your creativity, and you start, I don't know what the opposite of it, but you start differentiating yourself from the marketplace, because you can't see your juice, your glitter. So you start cookie cutter fluffing who you are, because you can't actually see. If you have imposter syndrome, you can't actually see your glitter and your juice that you have within your business, your point of difference. So you're not going to go out and effectively communicate that. You're not going to take the risks or have the boldness to do that. Number 3 is micromanagement. So sometimes you micromanage absolutely everything. And by micromanaging everything, it can honestly limit your creativity and your independence when you do that as well. It's almost like it's kind of like procrastinating. By micromanaging, you're just procrastinating everything, because you're just not confident in what you're doing. And the 4th is underrepresentation. So you have a fear of public speaking or a fear of presenting new ideas. And therefore, when it comes to key marketing ideas or trying new things, you don't fully stand up for yourself and voice what you love about your business, voice what you love about your product, about your services. So you underrepresent yourself because you don't have that confidence to do that. You're scared of what people are going to think. So how can you enhance your marketing innovation? Well, firstly, encourage experimentation. So you want to make sure that that you're happy to do things by trial and error. For me, I'm an activator. I do things and I figure it out along the way. I'm happy to take those risks. Emphasize that it's more about the learning and the progress than it is about perfection. Number 2 is celebrate failures. So whenever failures happen now or a challenge happens, it's like, oh, well, here we go again, like another freaking learning that we've got to do. What am I here to learn right now? And give it a little laugh. I mean, I remember being at Tony Robbins and he was like, just do this big laugh. And he said he used to freak people out in the workspace because he'd go like, like, oh my God, look at this shit again. Like, throw a 2-minute tantrum and go, what is my learning now that I've got to be able to learn? And celebrate that because you just get over it so much quicker. Number 3 is, promote collaboration. So create environments of collaboration where you can share ideas and you can take ownership of projects and different things, talk about things in different spaces. Don't be scared to do that. Number 4 is about empowerment. Empower yourself, empower the people who manage your marketing, and make sure that you trust in the abilities that you do have. One of the best things I ever did was the strength test with Gallup. And the Gallup strength test is amazing because it talks about focusing on your strengths and then shows you how those strengths can be perceived by other people. So there's no such thing as having bad strengths. We've all just got different strengths, but some of those strengths can be perceived in a different way. So for example, if you know your strengths and you focus on your strengths, then you're not looking at the things that you're not good at. And people get this all the time. People go, I'm non-techie, I'm not creative. I mean, look at the words, look at what you're saying and talking over yourself. Like you're just working your imposter syndrome muscle as to working your empowerment muscle. Start to talk about the things that you are good at. I'm actually good at coming up with some of this content stuff. I'm actually good at sharing it. I'm actually getting so much better at it. Because your thoughts and words will create your reality. And as I said, you'll start to work that empowerment muscle rather than the imposter syndrome muscle. And number 5 is, continual learning. Make sure that you're constantly looking at new trends and technologies. Continue to do self-development and learn your craft. If you're managing your marketing and that's what you're doing, constantly be looking at it. I think Rachel this weekend contacted me because now she's addicted to Reels because she got that, that trending Reels. So she's now addicted to Reels and she's now asking all the advanced questions under the sun, in her sessions with me. And, but she's getting like excited about it. She grabbed onto a skill that she thought she never had. And now she's developing that skill. She's not just going to go and wing it every day. She's now going, what can I do better? Let me look at this. Let me look at that. Let me work that muscle. Let me develop that skill. So continue learning. So what is the impact on job performance? Well, so basically, employees experiencing imposter syndrome are more likely to report decreased job satisfaction and lower performance level, with 40% of them indicating that it negatively affects their work performance. So can you imagine if you had less imposter syndrome, so that you had more job satisfaction and you enjoyed the tasks within your business and you performed at a higher level and it positively impacted your performance? Imagine a positive performance on your marketing and your management. So good. So practical steps for business owners and their teams. Firstly, always check in with yourself. Check in with yourself and check in with your marketing managers and make sure that you have regular times in there. So for me, it's a Monday and it's a Friday. There's a half an hour check-in on a Monday and a Friday to check how everyone is going. And that includes with me. There's a check-in with me. How am I going? How am I performing? How is my mindset? What am I thinking? Has imposter syndrome come in? Where can I find it? I mean, for me, I just do it on a daily basis as part of my self-development. But it's important for you to pat yourself on the back for progress, identify those challenges and laugh at them. Ha, 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 what am I going to learn from this? And make sure that you keep the lines of communication open with yourself and your team members. Number 2 is goal setting, making sure that you are defining clear, achievable goals for your marketing campaigns. Number 3 is feedback loops. So making sure that if you catch yourself, so feedback loop is catching yourself, but if you catch others, hey, do you really think that? So if I'm with a friend, or if I'm with a team member, or if I'm with a friend, a family, or family, friends, team members, or even a client, and they go, I'm really not good at that. Are you really not good at that? What are you really good at? So feedback loop is just maybe catching ourselves or checking others and going, hold on a sec, like how can we reframe that? No, you are good at that. Let's reframe that. So just have a look at how we can actually avoid criticism and start to acknowledge our achievements. Number 4 is diversity of thought. So we want to encourage different perspectives, because remember, your perspective may be skewed by the shit that's going on inside your head that you haven't dealt with yet, right? So having other perspectives can help foster new ways of thinking and bring that self-awareness into check, and can help us obviously then problem solve from a new perspective. So number 5 is mindfulness practices. So making sure that you include mindfulness and stress management techniques on an ongoing basis. This helps manage anxiety and self-doubt. And as I said, for me, that's why we created the free breathwork for business owners on a Friday, because breathwork is a fantastic way to help you deal with things. It helps bring things to the forefront. So remember, acknowledging and addressing these feelings can unlock greater potential, leading to more effective leadership of yourself and your marketing managers. And it can also help you start to create more groundbreaking marketing strategies now that you're more innovative and less fearful. So if you'd like to be live on these calls, remember that you can be by being a client or a VIP member. And we're now going to go to the fun part where we do a Q&A and we start to talk about our takeaways, but you do need to be part of the live audience to be invited to come on that.